Now, what just happened there was me facing my fear. My greatest fear was that I was going to forget what I was going to say or lose track. And I just wanted to know how that felt. And surprisingly, it felt pretty comfortable. I don't know about you guys, but I felt all right about it. So that's the worst it's going to get. Or could be. I might lose track later on. Now, with fear, it's an incredibly powerful emotion, and it has the power to paralyze you if you let it. If you find a way not just to deal with the feeling of fear, but also manage the feel of fear, because you're going to get it regardless. You can't get rid of it. It's there. You just got to manage it. Now, if you can overcome that feeling of, or the power of fear, then how powerful has that made you? Now, if you added the ingredients of direction to the power that you've got for yourself, you can't measure that. You see how I worked the powerful beyond measure into the little talk there? Now, once you've got that direction, you start to get a feeling in your stomach of excitement and nerves. If you're going to do anything creative, if you're going to do anything that really matters to you and really care, you're going to get this horrible sort of feeling, this knotty feeling in your stomach. Again, that's a feeling you're just going to have to get used to. Now, I used to feel that all the time. On my first day of my film, or a film I worked on, was The Mummy. I'd never worked on a film before. I'd never worked in a studio before. And I went on my first day, and I was incredibly nervous. I was asked to do a very, very simple job. I was a runner back then, the office runner. I was asked to do a really simple job, and that was just to go to the restaurant, get a meal for the director, and then come back with the meal and take it to his room. A lot of responsibility. You don't want to upset the director on a feature film. Now, I went over to the restaurant, and as soon as I walked through the restaurant doors, I recognized a couple of actors that I'd seen in a film before. I'd recognized another director that I'd seen in a film before. So it was very, very intimidating. And again, you feel that sort of knotty feeling in your stomach. And I remember going up to the counter and just asking for the food. Again, very simple instructions, very easy thing to do. And I remember them saying to me, it's just going to take 5 minutes. So I'm standing there, and as I'm standing there, I'm just looking around in this restaurant at Shepperton Studios. Very famous studio. And unfortunately, I did a really silly thing. I did what I'm sure we've all done it before. It's called the James Dean lean, where you're kind of cool and you kind of cross your hands and you kind of lean on something solid. Now, there was these big pillars in this restaurant. Remember, I'm working in a film studio here. Now, I thought I was going to be leaning onto a solid structure. But in fact, there was 15 feet of polystyrene, not fixed to the floor or the ceiling. So in front of all these people on my first day of work, I managed to lean on this polystyrene pillar. And it starts to topple over nearly onto this table. I just managed to grab it and pull it back. Now, I learned from my mistake that day. I had to make a fool of myself. But I learned not to lean on something in a studio without touching it and checking first. And again, it's learning from your mistakes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to make a fool of yourself. On this instance, I wasn't planning to make a fool of myself, but that's just the way it went. Now, what I want to do tonight is I just want to try to explain to any budding filmmakers out there, anyone that feels they've got a story to tell, because that's all filmmakers is, basically. If you've got a story to tell, whether it's a documentary or film, you just want to shoot something, I just want to reach out to you and just sort of explain that it is obtainable. You know, the film industry is a bit of a beast. It really is. You just don't think it's that unobtainable goal. How do you sort of get involved? You just find a way. If it's important to you, you will find a way. If it's not important to you, you'll find an excuse. Okay? And that There's something to believe in. And that is what will happen. Now, what I'm going to do, while we're talking about a beast and a monster, how the analogy that I see with the film industry is, you know when you're watching a film and they're not showing you the beast or the creature or the alien, you can only see bits of it. But the film industry is kind of like that. If you haven't been on the floor, you haven't seen anything, how a film is made, and you want to get in the film industry, it's kind of scary. And with these films that don't show you the monster, it builds this tension. It becomes this big, scary monster in your mind. But then when you actually see the monster, you're like, is that it? What was I worried about? And that's kind of what life is about, really. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to try to, as you can see, I've got a few bits and pieces on the stage here. I'm going to try and demystify just a small part by showing you how a film floor works. So if I could have my illustrious team over here. Do you want to come in, guys? Come. See, they're all really nervous. What I've done is I've got my nerves, and I've dumped it onto them. So I feel fine now, because I'm not the new person. So that these guys, you're all lucky, by the way, because initially my plan was to pull people out of the audience. But time restrictions, I wasn't allowed. So you all got away scot-free. Okay, right. So you've got our background extras over here. This scene, basically, is two people, friends, they've had an argument, they've gone away, and he wants to reconcile the argument. So he knows what bar he's in, so he's going to try and meet him in the bar. So we're just going to shoot. This is just a very, very, very small part, and I'm going to do it very, very quickly. We've got background extras over here. They know what they're doing. We've got two costume girls here. We've got makeup. We've got the actors, our wonderful actors. We've got our sound with this is a sound boom, by the way, very, very, very expensive piece of equipment. And we've got our cameraman. So if our cameraman goes down there and stands with this very expensive piece of equipment, and it's mine, so guard it with your life, and I'll be down there in a second. Do you want to grab it? There you go, and just pop down there a second. And sound. Right, thank you very much. Okay, now, a director needs... that was a little bit early. I was going to say timing, but that's a comedian thing. So I was going to say, the director needs a director's cap. Thank you to my wife, Serena. Okay. and my light meter. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to cover this in 3 shots. This is called coverage of a scene. I'm going to speed up now. How much time have I got? 2 minutes. No. 2 minutes. Did someone say 2 minutes? It's going to go over, sorry. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to cover it with this shot and then 2 singles. Now, if we've got a live feed somewhere, if a live feed can come down here, and then we can see what we're seeing in the camera. I don't know how to say that in Sri Lankan. Can we have a live feed? Live camera? Huh? Yeah. Hello? I need the live... Oh, forget it. Okay. One thing with film industry is adapting, okay? You'll have a script, you'll do location recce's, you'll get multiple people involved, and you'll get there on the day, and it's all different. This is exactly how it is in the film industry. So what we're going to do here, we're going to get a wide shot. That's how you establish it. The shot you would see probably as an exterior shot of the building or the properties of the audience when they're watching the film will know where they are. Next one will be a wide shot here. Now, I want you to pick up the camera, and then when we say action, you just walk across, okay? So stay there. So, right, now I'm going to rehearse this. I haven't got time for rehearsals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check my makeup and check my costume. So guys, go on in, make sure the actors are all looking good. I've got to make sure that is correct. Every single shot I do, that's got to be the same. Exactly the same. They've got to watch their actions. They've got to know exactly what they're doing every single time they do the shoot. Okay, so makeup, have you been in? Happy? Costume, go on in. Both actors, they're both going to be in the shot. Normally we'd do a rehearsal, so everyone would see what the action was going to be, and then they can go from there. Okay, all happy? Fantastic. Right, check my lights. Yes, that's wonderful. Oh, brilliant. Normally a DOP would do that and be very happy about it. Are you all happy on stage? Great. Here we go. So that's the shot. Now, as he's walking, could you be walking this way? Both of you, okay? Okay, here we go. And action. And cut there. Lovely, okay? And stop where you're going. Reset back to number ones, please. Now, normally you'd have a grip. I don't know if you know what a grip means, but they take care of tripods, dollies, all the equipment. You see where I got the camera and moved him away? That would be the job of the grip. Best boy, if anyone's interested, they organise all the lights. Everyone asks about the best boy. Okay, next shot. I didn't review that, but I'm sure it's magical, and I'm not going to argue, and it'll be a beautiful, beautiful thing. Now, this next shot is going to be a single, over the shoulder. I'm hoping people have heard of that term, over the shoulder. So go in round about here. Get a single on our man. So you guys, you're in the shot. You want to be on this side. Now, with costume and makeup, I'll give them a bit more time. Because when you think about how big the image is, that's going to be 30 foot in the middle of Leicester Square. So they're going to make sure the makeup department... Where's my sound? Oh, there she is. I didn't explain about sound. I'll explain about sound in a minute. You're going to make sure that everything is perfect, because that's what you're going to be judged on. Okay, makeup and costume. Do you want to go in and check again? Now, it's mainly on this chap. You might just brush his costume. You might just sort of make sure this is okay and it matches the wide shot. Now, the book's been placed now. Because I shot it in the wide, the book is established. I was going to move that. But if I moved it and then came in, the next shot, the book would be missing. And I'm sure you've seen that in a lot of movies, where you saw something and the next shot. This is why. Because someone's gone in and gone, oh, damn, that book shouldn't have been there, taken it out, but it's already been established. I'm hoping this is all making sense. Okay, so, background extras. They're at the bar, by the way. This is a nice bar, swanky bar. You want to start back here, from the top. Okay. All set? All happy? Lovely. Oh, hang on. Ah, yes. Great. I'm happy. Oh, sound, by the way. Very, very important. You can win an Oscar for it, so it is very important. Okay. Are you all recording? Beautiful. And action. Wonderful. Cut there. Thank you very much. All right, moving on. Next single. Anyone that's into filmmaking, anyone that's interested in filmmaking, learn what the 180-degree, you got notepads, 180-degree rule is. Can't explain now. Same as I can't talk about lighting or camera angles or lenses or visual language. You'll pick that up. It's very easy. If you're interested, if you're hungry for knowledge, you will find out all this information. This is just showing you how everything works. Okay, right. So can you take your position a second? Do you want to take your position? This is called the end position. So just making sure that when he sits down, the camera's got its focus points and everything's correct. Right, so that's the over the shoulder. Okay, good. Do you want to step out again? Okay, so you're the background artist. You remember where you are in relation? Because every single member of the background that you see in a film, most of the time, is being coordinated, and they're there specifically to do a job and fill in the background, empty spaces. And if you look at any film that you watch, every person in that scene is being coordinated, told what to do. No matter how, I mean, when I did Gladiator, I wasn't part of the AD team, I was just a runner. But I know that the ADs had 3,000 people per day to coordinate. And that was just the audience, watching the big fight sequence. Amazing, absolutely incredible. Okay, right, here we go. And action. Okay, cut there. So, did you do exactly the same thing as the last shot? You sure? And normally you get a continuity person just to double check. You got the director, you got the continuity, you got loads of people just to make sure that they did exactly the same. And you can watch the playback just to make sure. Now we've got this tiny, tiny, tiny bit covered with the wide and 2 singles. Now how am I doing for time? Great. I like Sri Lankan minutes. Apparently they're a lot longer here than anywhere else, right? Okay, well that's pretty much it, I think. Normally I would review the footage. I will review the footage. We haven't had time to do the focusing and all that sort of thing. If it does work, it may end up on a website where you can view it. If it doesn't work, then it's not going to see the light of day and it'll hit the cutting room floor. C'est la vie. Okay, thank you very much to the team. Just switch off. Just switch off. Great. Okay, that was very quick and very fast, and there's a lot of information to take on board. So I'm hoping that any of you filmmakers out there, it was a bit of an insight to how a floor is run. You know, I am based in Sri Lanka now, in Colombo. I don't know how long I'm going to be here for. Oh, thank you. I don't know how long I'm going to be here for, but any filmmakers, you know, don't be sort of worried about asking me questions. I can talk about film all day. Now, I just want to finish up on, you know, there could be someone in this room right now that could be Sri Lanka's next great director. Could be. There's no reason why you can't. All you have to do is, as I said before, is to overcome that fear. And it is a monster. I can't hide behind that. No telling a lie. It's a big thing. But as soon as you overcome it, you then have to find the direction which you need to push yourself into, the path that you want, whatever it is. I mean, you can create magic. But that is down to you. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. And thank you very much.